I get so excited about that. Hold on. Let me. Actually, I'm going to go on air really quick. Just still do the countdown, okay? Hey, everyone. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez, and it's that time for the morning show. We're doing our final countdown before we go live here in just seconds on the radio. For those of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Good news. If you've been thinking about a HTC Vive, I think it's called Vive. 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 Well, if it's Spanish, then it's Vive. I finally convinced my mom to check it out. I said, look, let's do a beta test. Worst case scenario, we can always send it back. And so I'm hoping my mom's going to enjoy it. So shout out to Maria, who helped a little bit in the chat room. And
2 seconds.
We'll see. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope TV, Instagram, LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we got lots of stories coming in. Not all great. The majority kind of a little sad and depressing. So we're going to try to keep it as upbeat as possible, if that's even a thing. A little bit later, though, we're going to be talking to the author of Working from Home. How's that working for you? Clean up your mess, set up your space, and step up your productivity. Wendy Ellen is going to be joining us around the corner with her latest #1 bestseller book. And a conversation that I know a lot of people are wanting to have, which is, where do we go from here? What do we do next? Of course, if the pandemic lasts for any length of time, I think a lot of people still want to know, how can they work from home effectively? And I could imagine some of you have been already doing that, and you're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to maybe think of another job and or career. I saw a sad statistic that food banks are up 50%. In fact, people in Rolls Royces, Mercedes, Range Rovers were all pulling up to the curb asking for help, because financially you may have like a very nice, expensive car, but it doesn't mean A, you own it, and B, all of a sudden your company and or business is completely closed down for the winter, or maybe it's been closed down for some time. So some people were in line. Again, if you watch ABC News, you would have seen that yesterday. A lot of people just trying to make ends meet just enough to get regular food for the rest of the family. A humbling experience, as they did say, many are currently in. So if you're not in that position, count your lucky stars. But if you are in that position, it's a sad one to be in. And as I always say, start figuring out how you're going to team up with other family members and or other people that maybe, at least for some time, if you have extra space in your house, and or start bundling everybody together. Because I don't see this going away anytime soon, although I would love to say, yeah, it is. But way back in March, when I said this is going to be something that we're going to have to deal with for quite some time, here we are. It's now almost December, and look where we're at. It is not a fun thing to discuss. It's not something I want to discuss the rest of the entire show. But what I do want to discuss really is, how do we go from here to there? How do we go from this point in life to this point in life? Because there's a lot of space in between, which is a lot of what is going to happen next. I have many theories, which I think we all can start doing. And I had this discussion with a family friend. I says, I hate to be the person that says, look, are we in it for the long haul? At least a year and a half. Okay. I've had conversations on the air of people, and I say, what if we were in it for another 3 years? And some statistics and statisticians and people that are very smart are currently planning for a 5-year situation in the event that some of these vaccines work or don't work. Of course, it's very hopeful news that they will work. So we want to be hopeful, but we don't want to be completely oblivious to the fact that people are dying left and right. People are in the hospitals right now. People are trying to make ends meet. People are probably at the worst time of life that we ever thought this could happen in such a short amount of time. It almost feels many times like you're going through a movie scenario. You're like, when can I wake up from this movie nightmare, right? Speaking of which, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there who understands what I'm talking about. There's a lot of movies that kind of talk about doomsday apocalypse situations. I'm thinking, at least it's not Terminator Salvation, right, Jesse?
Yeah, let's not get any kind of Terminator thing because I really don't want my toaster or my AI controlled toothbrush attacking me for some reason.
Yeah, so I think if we had to be a little bit more positive than anything, at least it's not that right now, right? We're not dealing with robots destroying us right here, right now. I mean, it might be humankind destroying each other by throwing caution to the wind, but at the end of the day, at least it's a little bit more hopeful that it's not that, right?
Yeah.
But there you go. So if you're tuning in on social media, let us know what you think, where we are in the stream of time. But here's what I want from our audience members, okay? I simply want you to put your thinking cap on and say, look, no spreading of fear, but let's spread some interesting information out there. A, how are you going to get through it all? B, if you have a family member who currently is very highly susceptible, or maybe they have a pre-existing condition, maybe their lungs are bad, maybe it's not that, maybe it's an autoimmune disorder, maybe it's 20 other different things, that there is no one size fits all. And with our guests coming up around the corner, I love that we're discussing work from home, because oddly enough, I think people are going to have to start looking at that in the coming months ahead. If you have, for example, one of our, I love one of our guests, and I think there's probably several that don't chime in, but they work in the healthcare industry. You have a job set for life, right? Unless you get sick all of a sudden and now you get worse, or you have something that happens very bad. Now you got to wonder where your next job is coming from, right? And again, if you're in the healthcare sector, I'm sorry for the stupidity that people are displaying right now, thinking, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We have the healthcare there in the United States of America. But if you're around the world, the question is your local hospital ready to go at a moment's notice if you just stub your toe and or break it? Are you ready to go? Jesse, you had a moment right there. You were thinking right there. I saw your face. I was like, what are you thinking when I say that?
I'm just thinking about stubbing my toe. It's a horrible pain. I'd rather not deal with it.
Yeah, I one time fell, and I don't know how, but I broke my toe slightly, but it was painful. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to the hospital because I just had to kind of keep it. And it mended on its own, but it's just a little damaged. I didn't amend properly. But my point is this, which is worse, having a person to actually see you because they're all seeing COVID patients and are going to the hospital. And I mean, my mom was like, well, maybe if you get one of those like suits on, you could actually go somewhere, right? Are we at that point? I don't know. I think some people are. I think the majority of people, I saw a broadcast yesterday with this one lady at the airport. And she goes, well, I've gotten COVID. My sister's gotten COVID. 3 other people I know, we all got COVID. So we're meeting for Thanksgiving because we're pretty sure we're safe. And I was like, I would hate to be with people that had COVID. So like you kind of wonder how they got COVID all, right? Like I wouldn't want to be that one person who didn't get COVID, which technically I haven't gotten COVID, or my mom, knock on wood, right? But my point is, would you want to be around that family that all got COVID? And then she goes, yeah, so I'm pretty sure if I got it a second time. And then she started thinking about, well, I don't know. If I got it a second time, what would happen? People don't think. Just because you got once doesn't mean you're immune for life, people. So be careful out there, okay? Stop throwing bad information out there. But I was like, oh, man, these people don't hear themselves sometimes. And just don't be that person, okay? So there you go. And I saw some other posts of people just going, no, it's still fake. I'm like, how, what part of like, I think some people would be in a car accident. And unless they're in the car accident, they don't believe car accidents exist, right? I don't need to put my seatbelt on until they get a car accident. Oh, yes, I do. Shoot, my head hurts, right? Anyway. All right, Jesse. I mean, what are your thoughts there? I feel like you got 20 thoughts going on there.
About what, COVID or the whole seatbelt thing?
Either one.
Well, it's obviously wear a seatbelt because you don't want to fly through that window. But yeah, the whole COVID thing, It's real. It's just I don't know. It's just tiring because you hear stay in your house, and it's like, how long do I have to stay in my house for? But you know what? I'd rather be alive than having to worry about breathing. So yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I agree, Jesse. And look, if you are out there trying to make ends meet, I say try to make ends meet, do so responsibly, and let's figure out how we can work together virtually, right? That's a situation and a thing that I think we need to talk more about. Yesterday on the after show program of the morning show, if you want to follow me and you're listening online anywhere, you can follow me, Aaron Michael Sanchez. Look for the official check mark on Periscope TV, which is on Twitter. You can look for Aaron Michael Sanchez, look for the official check mark, and or on Facebook, look for that and friend me, like me, and there you go. And then we usually have a discussion after, but we had a very interesting discussion with some of our team members. I'm going to call them team members of the morning show, which had a really good discussion on VR. And I think 8 of our regular viewers actually currently have a VR headset, but they don't talk about it a lot. And I'm like, we need to start talking about it a little bit more. So in the coming weeks, I'll make some recommendations on some VR headsets that I think would be good. A good gift. B, a good investment for the family. Because if you could get lost, even for an hour and a half in some like cool virtual world, isn't it better to do that than to just be like, I'm bored and have to, say, well, let's go out and throw caution to the wind. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Jesse, you want, for example, a cool movie theater experience, right?
Yes, I am.
So what if I told you there's an app where you can meet with your friends prior to the movie in virtual world and then go watch the virtual world like you're in a movie theater and experience it like, I mean, it's not the same thing, but wouldn't it be cool to meet with some friends like you haven't seen in a long time?
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And be like little features like, popcorn throwing features. I don't know, but make it fun.
You know what? That would be a good idea. That's a great idea for the app. And I said, look, if AMC and or Edwards Cinemas actually started focusing on like a platform like that, because there's at least 1.8 million subscribers that are currently on their VR headsets, right? And some are working from home doing this. Some are meeting virtually. Some are powwowing instead of like Zooming. They actually get to be in a virtual space and they get to pick their own space. There's an area where you could pick like a campfire. You could pick, there's team building exercises you could do with other people that are all real. They're not computer simulated, So there's so many cool things with VR that I think it needs to get to the next step. But Facebook Connect is doing a really big investment in this process. And I don't think they've gotten enough. I don't think people are right there just yet, not understanding where the technology is. And it's really advanced significantly. I think in the next year and a half, you're going to see so many new devices out there, which are going to make you want to get one. It may not happen by this Christmas, but by next Christmas, I can tell you right now, there'll probably be like 8 new headsets, all quite affordable because it'll be almost a very common thing. Maybe not as common as like an iPhone subscriber, right? But at least we'll probably be there in another 8 years where everybody ends up having one. I just feel that's where it's going. So if you haven't seen Ready Player One, go check that out. And here's what I don't want, Jesse. I don't want people to be so consumed with VR that they forget about our planet, right? Because that was kind of the message in Ready Player One, right?
Something like that. Yeah. It's like there's a big world out there. I mean, yeah, the VR world can be amazing and just phenomenal. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to take it off a day or two and, enjoy the real world.
But I would like to see some tournaments and or gaming things where people could get in and then you could televise it and you could broadcast that and you could be like, all right, our top gamer, because they have that in just gaming world, right? In Asian communities especially, but and even now you could still do it online without people having to meet in person and throw caution to the wind. But again, this is a worldwide pandemic that we're in. I think, look, if you focus on gaming like this and some big heavy hitters that, Netflix and people that are making a lot of money, they pulled in some of their monies and said, okay, let's do this for keeping people at least, preoccupied. Look, sports, right? Sports is a good entertainment time spender, right? You enjoy sports. Well, I think gaming's kind of a little It needs to go next level. So there you go. That's my suggestion. Somebody's probably listening going, you know what? He's got a point. Let's do it. Message me. I'll make it happen. All right, people. I will see you around the corner with shout outs coming up next here on The Morning Show. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, let's see what the chat room is saying over here. Let me go all the way to the top, and let's see. Maria tuning in from Canada. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hope everyone is having a lovely morning. We are. And let's see. Diana Carbajal says, good morning from Downey. Thank you, Diana. I knew it, Maria. Maria says this. I went out and bought 4 more VR headsets for my mom, sister, and brothers. You know what? Smart woman. Smart woman. And I say smart because that's a good investment for them, right? Have everybody pitch in, and, you know, I would at least. But now you get to participate in things together, right? And that's what I say. I mean, like, I do think if you're ahead of the curve on this, better to be ahead of the curve than behind. Do I think they're going to come out with better headsets in the coming years ahead? I think they're a little slow right now. So I think the Oculus 2, I know they want to come out with the third one, but I think the Oculus 2 is good enough, or get a used one, worst case scenario, you know. They're selling some of those, but I will say this: buy it from the website if possible. I saved money going to HTC Direct than buying through Amazon and or Best Buy. I'm just saying. So go do that. Stephanie Reed says, hello, happy editing and onset this glorious day for today's awesomeness. Busy day ahead. I love her positive moments. Diana is asking about my sister. Hope she's doing well. Yeah, actually, she is doing well. Thank you for asking. For those that don't know, my sister did get COVID twice, but because she had gotten so much good treatment, I think the first time she was able to beat it the second time. But she has platelets in her body, which are due to end plates, because she almost lost her life. I think it gave her a leg up. And they're looking at blood as well as a deterrent for COVID. How some seconds. Yeah, so there's that. How many seconds?
We are at 5 seconds now.
Okay, thanks.
Coming back.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM, our social media platforms, however you're tuning in, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, and or LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. The social media chat room is alive and well. Maria saying this: Aaron went out and bought 4 more VR headsets for my mom, sister, and brothers. I'm not going to lie. I kind of wish we would have made some money on that because that's a possibility. Never. But I'm glad you did that, Maria. We had a discussion yesterday after the show, which was about some really cool new products coming out for VR headsets. And Maria actually knows because she has a VR headset. And I believe her kids were kind of tuning in as well, going, wait, that's coming out? There's a cool Star Wars VR situation, which it just looks cool, right? And a lot of these things are at different price points. My mom was asking, behind the scenes, well, how much are apps? And I think there was some misinformation on the social media chat room, because my mom literally, Jesse, she texted me, she goes, $250,000 to $10,000. There's no way we have that type of money. How do you expect us to make any money with this? And I was like, no, Mom, that's like if you wanted to create a brand new app from scratch. Does that make sense? So, which it can cost that much to make a real app. But, I have friends in high places, which will do it, honestly, just if you share the amount of money together, because something of nothing is nothing, is what I always like to say. So you could be that person which says, well, I'm only going to wait until it makes money, and I like those people versus those that go, I'm going to charge you $850,000 to create the app for you, which I would say, you know what, hold on, let me go borrow the money really quick if it was that type of ideal situation. But I would want to make sure to beta test the heck out of it, right, Jesse?
Yeah, definitely beta test.
All right, I'll let you take that call. But look, people, the reality is this: virtual reality is here to stay. Okay, you might as well jump on the bandwagon. I really do think that. And Maria actually I think she was understanding what I was saying about this. If you get this for your family, you can participate virtually on a lot of these cool new platforms. It's great for educational. Now, there's not a lot. I don't know how many. I haven't checked it out, but there are educational programs that allow your children to go in, put in the headset, and be immersed in an educational arena. Now, you can, if you want to monitor your kids, being like, are you sure you're playing or learning right now? You can check it out on your phone. You can check it out on your Windows PC capability. You could technically participate with them. It's just not the same thing as being like two people have a headset on at the same time. It's just not the same. But you can monitor your kids, and I think that would be a much better way for them to learn than have to always learn through another device. So I think educational school system really needs to start thinking this way, especially the higher learning ones, the ones that are your typical universities. They just need to supplement that with VR headsets and say, look, we're creating this. I think Harvard could probably get behind that. They're already online. And there's ways to do it to where you have VR people, but they're real people, but you see them as their avatars. Movie theater experience, you can do that right here, right now. I don't know if you could throw popcorn, but again, that would be a cool little, level up. You watch so many, now you get to throw it out there. They go, hey, I can't wait till the day where they have haptic suits, which are like, you feel what is going on in the room a little, right? We interviewed a person that did gloves where you could touch things and it felt like it was like really touching like firm objects because it would cause pressure on the gloves. Those are out. They're hard to find, but combine those together, what cool experience do you have right here, right now? I mean, short of just like, for those that are Trekkies out there, of a holodeck that you get to walk in on, it's still pretty. It's not like that just yet. I think we're at least 10 years out to do that, but they're working on it, guaranteed. But I think we're not there yet, obviously. But it's a cool time to be alive when it comes to technology and saying, where can we go from here? All right. Speaking of which, we have to go from here to a break because we've got to pay some bills here at the radio station. But when we get back, we've got our next guest ready to go there. Are you working from home? Some things you need to know about next here on The Morning Show. Jesse, I'm assuming that's our caller ready to go, or?
Yes, she's ready to go. She
Okay.
she just called in early because that's her bag.
That's her bag?
That's what she does. She calls in early.
Oh, good. Oh, she's smart. She's ahead of the game.
Yes.
I like it. I prefer that. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, you can learn a lot from Maria, by the way, Jesse. If you have questions, just like, she'll school all of us, I think. I think she had somebody who's like 80 who uses it in her family. And I said, well, even better. I need advice.
Right.
So my mom doesn't like shoot 'em up games, right?
Uh-huh.
Yet.
Right. I can see her playing like some type of like lightsaber game and then being some like lightsaber master.
Yeah, well, her shoulder's a little messed up. I don't want her doing that. But
Gotcha.
yeah, you didn't know that. She had shoulder surgery, which but if it was like a strengthening of her arm game, but I don't want her doing any fast moves, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I have to kind of I do. I look out for my mom a lot like that.
Do you know what? Oh.
What? Go ahead.
No, I was like, they should have like a fishing game where you're just sitting on a yacht or a boat.
It's funny you say that, Jesse. I told her about that a week ago, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if you had a fishing game for some people that like to fish? And it's very relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny you say that.
And then from time to time, you can have like a giant shark trying, like, I don't know. Who knows? There's some fun.
Why not, man? You see, you're using your brain to be like, you know what would make this even better? You could do deep sea fishing, right? Think about it. Give it to a bunch of real fishermen. I mean, you got to get like a really cool controller to be able to simulate that, right?
Right.
Again, anything with haptic feedback or something that feels like a tug, I think is the way to go.
We have 10 seconds till we come back. But yeah, I remember reading a company that's working on a vest.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, but I think they're just waiting for it to become as popular as it is, you know?
Oh, yeah. All right, coming back.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience, Facebook, Periscope TV, LinkedIn, and much, much more. Joining us right now all the way from, I believe, home. I'm not sure, but her book, Working from Home. How's that working for you? Spending time with us right now is Wendy Ellen. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Wendy.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, Wendy. Look, I got a question for you, obviously. Working from home, are you doing it effectively?
I am knocking it out of the park, but not so much with everybody else, I got to say. Look, let me just share this one thing with you. The thing about this book, the content is totally in my wheelhouse, but the response to this book has been overwhelming. I mean, the fact that it made #1 bestseller so quickly confirms not only the need, but the monumental change in our society, Aaron. It's really, this is not going away anytime soon.
No.
So the quicker we figure it out, the better we're going to be.
I 100% agree with you. I've told people for the last 3 months, I said, are you ready in the event that this happens for a good 3 years? And they say, oh my God, don't talk like that. But then I go, okay, what if I'm wrong? That's even better, because now you get to like be ahead of the curve. And I think we're learning a lot through this pandemic, whether it lasts another 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years. Working from home, what are your tips for the person that wants to and or needs to find a job where they can work from home?
You mean someone who's not working but actually needs to find the job, or someone that's already working and needs to work from home successfully? Because those
Both.
are very different things.
Yeah, well, let's take the first one, because I think people are losing their jobs in the service industry, and the economy is hitting an all-time low.
Right. So, if it were me and I were unemployed right now, I would be looking for a job that I could work from home, because for me that would be safety. And until we really know how safe it is to go to an office, that would be #1. And then I would make sure that I'm able to set myself up in whatever home working experience I need to be successful. And that's the key right now. That is why most of the people are stressed out and on overwhelm about working from home, because they don't live in a way that serves them well, much less work in a way that serves them well, because they're living under the same roof that they're working under.
Right.
So, for the longest time, I have a job and I go to my office every day, and I get to leave my clutter and my dysfunction behind and go work in a nice, cushy office somewhere for the day. And then I only have to come home to the mess that I created in the evening. But now we can't leave the mess. So
True.
Here's what I say. Clean it up. Get rid of it. Why does it have to stay there? Now you have an opportunity to look at your home team, which is also way more important than your Zoom team right now, the people that are living under your roof with you and doing their schooling and doing their working with you. Like for 20 years, I worked in my office by myself. Then all of a sudden, my husband moved home. I remember March 16th, he backed up his car into the driveway and unloaded his office. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm moving home. And I'm like, ugh, really? I love you dearly, but I really cranking for 20 years in my home office by myself. Now he's there. So it took a while to figure out what was going to be the best place for him to work.
Right.
So I say, look at your home team, whoever that team is. Is it your spouse? Is it a kid? Is it 2 kids? 3? and talk to your people every single morning. I always say the best number one tool that I can offer, that I can suggest that everybody on this call get, is a whiteboard, a simple whiteboard, and put it in your kitchen. And every morning have a meeting, a home team huddle, and ask everybody around the table, what do you got going on today? What do I need to worry about? Who's walking the dog? Who needs help with their school? Here's what I got going on. I got a Zoom call. You can't interrupt me. I have an interview for 10 minutes at 11:30 on Wednesday. Right? You gotta ask for what you need, and you gotta share with your people.
Well, and I'm glad you're mentioning that, because I remember having that situation. You had the little one who wanted to spend time, but you're like, okay, I need only a certain amount of time. Even though you see me here on the computer, I am working, right? Because sometimes when you're present, and this is where I think families have a hard time, is disconnecting. Okay, from this time to this time, I am unavailable. If I'm taking a call, I'm just taking a call. Pretend I'm not even here, right? How do you make that make sense for, all the family members? Because everybody has a different schedule.
Right. And that's going to change by the day. So here's what I say. Take it day by day. Get up in the morning, meet with your home team, find out what's going on just for that day. I have a brilliant idea that I've shared with my clients who have kids, is I tell them to go get a red light bulb and put a red light bulb in the lamp in your office. When the light is on, you are uninterruptible. You cannot come in the office. If you see mommy has a red light bulb on in her office, that means stop, you can't come in. As soon as the red light bulb is off, you can interrupt me. And then you honor your word about it every single time. So it's really, I always say it's strengthening that parenting discipline muscle that you're not used to doing during the day, because after all, you dropped your kids off at school and it was, your kid was now the teacher's problem for the day, right? So you got to strengthen that parenting muscle.
Well, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, productivity can have the ability to go up. In some cases, it goes considerably down if you don't have the discipline and the regular routine that you need to have in a work environment. What's your advice for those that currently are in that position where they feel, because I think the highly productive ones can finish things in 3 hours time versus a typical work day at work, whereas others take almost longer because they think they have all day.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. I believe in routines. I believe in a morning routine. So what I'm saying is convert your commute time into a morning routine. And it doesn't need to be from 8 to 9 or 8 to, it can be whenever you want it to be. I have a client who said to me, I love your morning routine hour, but I still have to drive my kids to school. So drive your kids to school and come back and then start your morning routine. Right. I don't care if the morning routine is a mid-morning routine. Have a routine. I get up every morning. I do the first 6 things. I meditate. I drink a cup of hot water with lemon. I move my body, even if it's just yoga stretches. I write in my gratitude journal. I look at my day. I assess my day, and then I do my most important things on the list. Every single day, it's those 6 things without fail. Do they always start at 8 a.m.? No. Sometimes they start earlier or later, depending on what I got going on. Right now I'm doing this whole media thing where my life revolves around an interview, and that's first and foremost. Everything else can come around that. But it's just starting to get really realistic and starting to get intentional. Stop living on autopilot. It is now time to focus on how you live your life.
Well, and I think businesses really need, especially those that have kind of been on the fence about it. I think everybody's now like, okay, let's just make it happen. Are there any technologies or things that you recommend for somebody to get their hands on? Obviously, the home environment needs internet. I would think that there's got to come a time when if you're working from home, there's got to be certain expenses that get paid for eventually. But is there any recommendation either on, I see VR headsets, although we're not there just yet, but being kind of the next best thing. I know Facebook is all working virtually through Facebook Connect, and they're able to meet each other in VR space, but not everybody's there just yet.
Right. Listen, this is different for everybody. A lot of it will also still have to do with how technically inclined are you.
Right.
I'm not the most technically inclined human being. I got an Apple Watch for my birthday a couple of days ago. I have no idea how to use this thing.
Right.
Every
They're
hour,
awesome when you get it, though. Trust me.
Right. When I figure it out, it'll be great, but I need a tutorial because I have no idea how to use all this stuff.
YouTube it.
But right. But I'm going to YouTube it and I'm going to learn it. And I have a friend that's coming today that's totally her jam. She's a 30-something, and she's going to sit down with me, and I'm going to not let her go until I know how to use this entire thing. And I know it's fabulous. So, but it's like every single one of us, Aaron, moved into an empty space in our home. Whatever you're looking at right now, when you look around your space, you created.
Yeah.
And if it's not bringing you joy, then recreate it. Now is the time to set up a space that brings you joy, not creates jobs. My house does not create jobs for me. I don't walk in my house and see a pile and go, oh my God, I got to do that. And then I look over in the next room and there's another pile. I walk in my house, I kick my shoes off, and I rub my dog's underbelly. I love my home, but I created a space to love.
Wendy Ellen, everybody, #1 best-selling book, really quick out of the gate, Working from Home. How's that working for you? A lot of tips and tricks here on the book, which you're definitely going to want to get. I think it makes even a good gift for a family friend as well. So buy one for you and or your family friend who's maybe like trying to figure it out. If their productivity is suffering and you're a boss, get that for them and or read it yourself and start implementing some tricks of the trade. Wendy, I want to say thank you before we let you go. Any last advice for people that you say basically you kind of see them kind of really needing help in this one category?
Listen, here's what I say. Right now, corporations are pushing things back and back and back. And every time you turn around, it's another month behind that we're not going to be going back to work. Corporations have a responsibility now to make sure that all their employees are able to work at home successfully and productively. It is now their job to offer this as a tool to their employees to make sure that they have what they need to be successful. It's imperative. And every single person can do this. This is not a hard thing to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, Wendy. I know we got to let you go. Make it a great day, whatever you do. And I can't wait to have you back with some more tricks of the trade.
You bet. Thanks, Aaron. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You too. Wendy Ellen, everybody. Go check out her book. If your boss is kind of struggling to make ends meet, you might want to recommend this book, by the way. Read it first. Working from Home. How's that working for you? I know there are some employers that are very resistant to change. Again, there are certain service industries that you just can't do that effectively, which I know in the coming weeks with a lot of restaurants closing, a lot of service-oriented services actually closing down. Some people are taking a second, a third job just to make ends meet. Maybe it's a delivery service or whatnot. There's certain industries that just cannot do this properly, but there's other industries. If you work in an office, you can work from home. I've always said this. If you have the ability to work from home, you should be able to do so. But some have been very reluctant to do so because they like to be micromanager over the person, which I say that works for what? Like 5% of the population? I don't know. I don't know what that number is, but I do know this. We have to take a break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, we're on a commercial break. We appreciate each and every one of you for spending time with us. Let's see what the chat room is saying over there. Let's see. From Switzerland, Katya says, I'm enjoying the last hour for today in my office with your show. I'm always looking forward to the evening with your morning show. Love you guys. Aw, thank you, Katya. I really appreciate you. Again, for her, it's evening time, close to. So evidently she watches us from her office. Appreciate you. And I hope that one was very informational. Sometimes there are things that you go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes you need certain tips and or tricks and or just reminders that there is a way to do it properly. Let's see here. Let's go back. Let's see. Rosalie says, running in late. Happy Wednesday, beautiful people. Maria says, we do lots of phone calls and video treatments, but if it's a real emergency, but not life or death, the paramedics will go to your house and help you out. She's talking about what she does in the healthcare industry in Canada. She says, I'm going to do team meetings on VR with my staff and students. It is an awesome idea. It is. Mark Zuckerberg actually said that he found it easier for people to remember the training when they're in a VR situation versus like a seminar watching it on a screen, because there's certain elements of it which are just, it's the way a brain works, which is why when you go to a seminar and you sit there, sometimes you don't learn because you're just actively, passively listening, but you got to get engaged. Those ones that make you do, okay, now we're going to do like a trust building, or, we're going to implement something that we're doing, educational programs that have a real world scenario of apply the lesson that you're learning. You could do that in a VR headspace.
20 seconds.
Which you can't do as effectively on a Zoom call, technically. I mean, you can, but it'd be cool if you had like objects like, okay, how do we do this, right? I'm thinking like mechanics. You could learn car mechanics technically on a VR headset. Fix your own car. How cool would that be?
5 seconds.
Pull up the schematics just for yours, right? Would that be cool?
That would be cool.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMT 1490 AM. Glad to have Wendy Ellen joining us, working from home. How's that working for you? And it brings into question something that I know a lot of people are either hopefully asking and or maybe not asking enough. And it's this. If we're not prepared to go back to the way it was entirely, how do you possibly make it effective to be able to work from home and or do so in such a way that makes people go, why didn't we think of this before? I mean, she mentioned something that I completely forget about: drive time commute. If you have commute time to get into your office, park the car, pay for parking, get out of your car, imagine how much time you already saved not having to do that by being able to work from home, right? Now the question is your internet good enough to where you're as top level as you need to be, or can your company and or business do that? Maybe not necessarily downscale just yet, because I know there's going to be a lot of, I think, forgiveness of debt coming up around the corner, which I think the nation's going to need to have to face sooner than later. But in order to keep businesses productive, there are many businesses actually that are still currently working. If you're in an office environment, you're a tax professional, even an attorney can meet virtually. Technically, they have services where you can set it up and they meet via like a Zoom call, and they have it all very private, and they have their own little, technically it could be done that way and probably be more expedient, and they could probably do more court cases that way. Are they ready for that? Probably not. They're so ahead of time that they could figure it out, obviously, because technology is already there. But is the technology ready to get ramped up that quick? I don't know. I would hope so. Everybody has a computer, right? So start there. But you got to start thinking ahead and say, okay, we're stuck in the 21st century. Oh, yeah, that's right. 2021 is almost coming up around the corner, and we're still thinking like, yay, nay. Did you guys see that when I talked about that, how the Senate was voting? It took them an hour and a half to take a vote. Yay, nay. Just give them an iPad, make them vote right there, and you got the yays and nays already done. Flash it up on the screen so everybody sees, oh, Joanne, I thought you were going to vote yay. How dare you? Well, I'm sorry, but my conscience, I let rule me this time. I mean, look, there's Senate members that just do that. Am I wrong? Am I right, Jesse? What do you think?
No, you're right. They take too much time to answer or say yay or nay. So either do an iPad or some other like electrical shock under their seat to get their blood flowing. And
I didn't know. Jesse,
you're taking too long. Zap.
Who's the one? Are you awake over there, Joe? Oh, I am now.
Right? Because I can guarantee you how many of them have slept while they were sitting there just waiting.
I guarantee you at least half of them, right? They probably put on their glasses with the fake eyes, right? Like, okay, I'm really not paying attention, right? But they take their paycheck and then they're like, is lunch happening yet? Well, I don't know. We got a couple more yays. Okay, hold on. Yay. Can we speed this up? I want to eat my bologna sandwich. Oh, boy. Seriously. Washington, D.C., you got to catch up. You got to catch up with the rest of the world. Put a bunch of 30-year-olds in there and younger and just say, how can we make this faster? Have them sit there for like a day and a half guaranteed. They'll be like, there's this really cool new technology. It's called an iPad and or an Android phone. We could download this and make it 100% like foolproof. And you can even double check and then, I don't know, write down your answer and see if it matches. We could do that for the first like 100 episodes of It's Your Congress. How are we going to vote today? Right? I'm just saying. I may joke a little, but I'm kind of not joking, because if you got leadership being that ridiculously non-productive, I feel like businesses are like, yeah, we could even be more productive than that, right? So there you go. And I think they would get a lot more done. I think if anything, they could get like a stimulus package figured out. So are we still waiting on that, Jesse? Is that still a thing? We're still waiting on that. What happened to, it's going to happen after the voting situation, right?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Who knows? We need it.
And are they going to be like, sorry, we're now on our holiday? Probably, because that's how much time they like to waste. I'm sorry, but I just have no respect for people that waste other people's time, especially when you got a whole country of people suffering, mad, upset, angry. Start doing something right, especially for businesses, for the economy, for people that are just trying to make ends meet, whether they're trying to rent, whether they are renting, whether they even have a house to live in or an apartment or, family friend. Just figure it out. Come on. How difficult is that? In fact, work through the holidays. Come on. I know Jesse and I are going to be working tomorrow through the holidays. It's the thing. So if we can work, you can work, Mr. Senator or is there a Senatee or I don't know. It's just, all right, whatever. What are you going to do, Jesse? What are you going to do? Let's go to social media comments. I feel like I need some inspiration over here. Let's see. We've got... let's see. Shadow tuning in says South Carolina, California, Riverside. Shout out there. Says good morning, Earthlings. Good morning. Cedric tuning in. Thank you. Says hello. Katya Vonderland from Switzerland says I'm enjoying the last hour for today in my office with your show. I'm always looking forward to the evening with your morning show. That's right. She tunes in from Switzerland, people. If she could tune in from Switzerland in the evening, you could tune in from any given time around the day. I wonder how she found us to begin with. That's kind of an interesting question. How did you discover us to begin with? Edgar Walter Alexander says, good morning, everyone. Maria, let's see, who's from Canada, is also in the healthcare industry. So I give her a lot of on-air time because she says a lot of cool stuff, especially about VR. And let's see, we've got Shadow saying VR yoga, VR Tai Chi, VR bingo casino. They actually have some of those already. But if you've been wanting like a particular type of app, I think you should discuss it and say, I would use it if I did this, right? Let's see. Then there's this comment from Rosalie says, I need to invest in a wireless headset approved by the state system. I'm chained to my desk because of my headset, and I can see my laundry and other chores right there, and I can't reach it. Frustrating. I do wake up every morning, though, get dressed, do my hair and makeup, just like I was going into the office. I think that's some of us, but not all of us, right? If you could do it, would you do it that way all the time? I think if you have to go on camera like me, you have to do it. But if I didn't have to go on camera, I probably would be like, I'm not shaving today. Trust me. That's what I do on the weekend. Let's see. Rosalie says, stay warm. I hear it's cold in your neck of the woods. So, yes, it is somewhat. She's probably talking to somebody else. Oh, yeah. Maria, who's in Canada. I think it's like, 28 degrees there or so. Winter weather. Always warm inside, so be careful over there. Lily Valdivia tuning in as well. Shannon Griffin tuning in. Thank you. Shadow saying VR smart TV. And then Maria says, I have 1,500 megabytes per second, more than enough to work it. You only need about 10 megabytes per second to use each VR headset. So what she's talking about, I believe, is an upload speed, not download speed. Or maybe she's talking download speed. I'm not sure. But typically, I know for like Zoom calls and or virtual, like we need at minimum, I recommend 15 and up upload speed. That's different than download speed. So if you get your up high enough to minimum 10, you should be good with the majority of platforms out there. But with 5G becoming very extensive in certain areas of the market with wireless, you're going to see a lot more wireless apps that are really next level amazing because the speed is now there available for you, which are sometimes faster than even home speed, oddly enough. But you got to pay for it. So, there's that. Let's see, Jesse. What else is going on in the world? I know that Monolith has gotten some attention.
Yeah. So I know we were talking about how we can find the location, and they weren't gonna let anybody know where it was. So apparently, people didn't like that, so they went straight to Google Maps and they found it. And apparently, it's been there for at least 4 years. So that's the question. Like, did somebody put it for like a movie prop or something?
Right.
I don't know.
Because I have seen the video on like there's something like that on 2020. What was it? The Space Odyssey?
Oh, that 2001: A Space Odyssey, but that one was pure black.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was like, yeah, I don't know. I got questions. I don't think I'll ever have answers to on that. I wonder if anybody's going to come forward on that, and or the alien race is going to say, "Did you even try to turn it on?" So I don't know. What I mean, like maybe. Do you remember that? Like, what was it? Encounters of the, what was it with the sound? Right? They did sound do 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 do. Right? Like
Encounters of the Third Kind or Fourth Kind.
one of those. Right? That was a Steven Spielberg film, right? I believe. With some pretty cool notables. And how do you communicate with the alien race? It was sound, right? The little like tunes, and then they communicate back, and then make sure everybody's peaceful first, because you don't want an alien race just like visiting out of nowhere going, whoa, 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 we're not ready for you, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Besides, you don't want coronavirus, so you're like, oh yeah, let's back it up. With their little UFO backup. Get it? I don't know if UFOs have that. They should, just in case like there's another UFO following them. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much more advanced. They don't need a beeping signal. But if they didn't think about it, it might be a good thing for some of them. Oh, whoa, don't back up too fast, Charlie. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm new at this. Hold on. Right. So there you go. Anyway, all right, people. Look, I'm having fun here because what else are we going to do, right? Talk about coronavirus. Okay, here's the top headlines. Just for those of you that know that we do take our job seriously. 27 COVID deaths at Vets Nursing Home prompts probe. Don't be that nursing home, right? Start throwing caution in the wind. Never. Just be careful again. Be safe out there. Learn and think for yourself. Seriously, how do we get through it? And hey, best case scenario, the vaccine comes out, COVID goes away within like a few months. You're ahead of the game, man. You could tell your employer, like, look, I figured it out, man. We could totally work from home and I'll be more productive. I'll have more time off just by doing my work ahead of time. I probably could finish what would happen in a 9-hour day, 3 hours, but still pay me the rest. Or don't tell your employer that you could do it in 3 hours, but do it 3 hours. You have the rest of the day. Think about it, right? Oh, Jesse, come on. I know you're thinking about it, but you can't do it because you're always there no matter what. Okay, people, we make it a great day only if we learn to listen to each other and try to make things move forward. All right, people, I appreciate you. Make it a great day. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I'm still here. Yay. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? I will open it up to the chat room. Last time we had an open dialogue conversation. It was a pretty intense one. That was like a 3-hour intensity. So hopefully everything's going better over there in that neck of the woods. Let's see. We got Ronaldo Lima Pastana tuning in, says hello. Good to have you, Ronaldo. Glad to have you with us. Let's see. Katya says, I discovered your show because you once interviewed Alejandro Patino, and he's my good friend. He's recommended your show to me. Oh, well, okay. You see, you never know how that lines up. I always wondered how we got to Switzerland. So thank you, Katya. I appreciate you. Mario says, I found this show because Aaron followed me on Twitter. I'm so glad he did, though. This is the only morning I try not to miss. It took over my NBC Today show in the mornings. Well, you need to let NBC know that so that maybe they could be like, you know what? Maybe we need to hire this guy. Give him at least a couple dollars a day. All right. Lily says, it was great. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Let's see. All right. So for those of you tuning in, look, what do you guys want to talk about? I know some of you aren't ready to talk about VR headsets, and so I'm not going to belabor the point. I will say this, though. If you're not thinking about it, you really should. Maria and we had a conversation with a few other people yesterday that the VR, start checking it out, man. The price is going down, right? $299 for a VR Oculus. I personally like an HTC Vive or Vive. I will call it Vive because I don't think they did Latin on that. Vive, right? But HTC Vive headset, you can learn and or be more productive. You should be the first person in your work group to get one of these to say, how can we do this for our employees, right? And get the big boss to pay for it, right? Because you can recreate, I don't know if they have this, but I'm pretty sure it can't be that hard. I'm going to talk to my designer friends, see if we can make that happen. But there's a way to make a VR space look really cool, which I think, unfortunately, I'm gonna call my designer friend. I think she's got some ideas. But my point is this: if you have like a really cool set, or I mean, if you really want to replicate your existing business, you could do that. I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult, and have like a VR meet up chat room. Okay, I showed this yesterday on the show. I don't really want to show it to all of you because you're going to be like kind of bored. Because I can tell some people are like, I don't get it. But I'm telling you, in the next weeks ahead, I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to figure it out without doing this background. Maybe with me on the VR headset, and I can demonstrate to you some of the cool stuff you could do with VR. Okay, because I really do think as a nation we need to head in this direction. I really do. I think internationally, not everybody's ready for it. But if we could start thinking about cool products and or things ahead of the game and start implementing them, there's so much room for growth in this educational school sector, work environment, being able to still feel connected to other friends and or family members, which is why I think Maria, who's living in Canada, bought like 3 or 4 for her family members to be able to be like, hey guys, we could do this. I just hope that they don't like, you got to get them addicted to it, basically, to the point where they want to tune in, right? But there's this cool one that I pulled up, and you could be like, you and 3 others could be in a. I don't know if that's the limit of some of these, probably because of processing speed. But you can go into a bar, right? You put the bar up, and then you put the TV on. You all watch the whatever's on the TV, but you have a shared environment. You each have your headset. You get to speak into it. You hear each other, and then you look over. There's John, Joey, and Joanne, and hey, Joanne, how's it going today? Oh, no, no. Oh, really? Tell me about it, and then you could be eating your own, popcorn and or stuff that you got from maybe delivered to the house, maybe because you're the one doing the social distancing, right? Maybe now all of a sudden, like the kids of today, right? Don't ground Johnny because his room is like a masterpiece of design, right? The kids know. You ground Johnny and or Joanne, all of a sudden they've got their whole entertainment exclusive in their own room. But I think the adults need to start learning this as well, because that's where we need to go. Educational school system. I keep saying they pay a lot in universities or real estate, but man, wouldn't it be cool to have everybody on a VR headset provided by the university? I can almost guarantee you probably get more signups doing that. University, so listen. And we've had Harvard on the show as well. They were one of the first to do online learning, but did they figure out doing with the VR headsets? I think not. They need to start thinking this way, because we're there. We're already there. I did some research and I said, how come this isn't getting as much fanfare? Oh, price and or cost. I get that. But let's just throw it into perspective, because I don't like throwing away money. I hate throwing away money, especially if I feel I'm not going to use something, right? I'd rather return it and get my money back than to stick with something that I'm not going to use. You get it? And I've done that on occasion. But I had this conversation with my mom. My mom just didn't understand. And I'm going to throw my mom under the bus a little, because she was so anti-VR. Her number one complaint was, it's going to make me look stupid. I go, Mom, if anything, it makes you look amazingly smart. Only the top tech people actually put these things on. I think she had a bad experience at Universal Studios that she thought it was going to be the same thing. And I think she's thinking one is the other. It's not. For those of you that know social media, chat room, VR headsets, I'm going to need your help to be among friends that I request to help me and or my mom walk through it all, because I can't be here all the time with her. So I want to make sure she's safe at home, social distancing, and kind of preoccupied with some fun stuff that this stuff is there for. Okay. So call it a little selfish. I want my mom, to not be bored, not to be like, well, I've just got to do the same old thing. And, this apartment, clean up, make some food, blah, 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 blah. Because that's boring after a while. Right. So, but everybody's going back into lockdown mode, right? Agree to disagree. Maybe it's happening in your area. Maybe it isn't. Maybe you live on the East Coast where it's really becoming prevalent. But you see why I say we need to push VR a little bit more than we have been thus far. And I think we need to push the companies a little bit harder to say, hey, start making it more affordable for those that are very, very, very much needing it. I would love to see if anybody has a connection to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I have connections to Google. And I got people from Facebook, I guess I could hit up, but I don't know if they're going to be like, yeah, Mark doesn't want to be on your show. You only have like so many viewers. I'd be like, well, you know what? Broadcast this on yours. I'll totally be a Facebook VR dude. But my point is this, or maybe I'll get the HTC guys. I don't know. I think they need some marketing help over there. But my point is, we need to push them along to be able to say, look, why don't you guys do some really good PR? Because honestly, unless you make sense for them for a PR standpoint, they don't think about it until you get in their head and say, look, go make it available to 6 nursing homes in a given state. Just make it available. Okay. Take 3 or 4 headsets, give it to them for free, give it for a good 90 days, and just have them test it out. You could learn a lot from the senior citizens in your community. And if it makes sense for a senior citizen, guaranteed it's going to make sense to the younger generation, which it's actually made for. But I think there's an underserved population of seniors bored out of their freaking mind. They're bored. They're so bored. They're just bored. All right. Take a senior citizen that you know, or better yet, lock yourself up in a nursing home with the regular. You get your food, you get your things, and you're confined to a wheelchair because you can't stand up, you can't walk around. I remember my mom one time, she had gotten so badly sick, she needed to go to a nursing home to be able to recover. Okay. She was only in there about a week and a half, right? And she recovered. She was fine. She had 24/7 care. But she was like, it is so boring in there. It is so boring. I felt bad for her because I was like, I know, Mom, but you got to get recovered, you know. And I visited her a couple of times, and I walked the rooms, and I was like, the smell. There's a smell that when you walk into nursing homes, you're like, oh, that smell, right? And then 2, you got some dumb nurses out there, right? And 3, you have certain things that they could do, like they could stroll out, right? They could kind of feel the sun on their face. They have certain things that they get to like enjoy. Hopefully people come to visit, or more often than not, they're just there with, you know, Joanne over there. But now Joanne's getting sick, and all of a sudden Joanne dies. But you got connected to her. Now she's dead. You get it? It's a depressing situation that these homes are currently in. Now, there are some very high-level ones where they do a lot more, and I've been to that because I was looking at something from both my mom and dad to be able to stay in eventually when I had the money. But that was like $3,000 a month, and it's much more like you're not confined. You have like your little apartment scene. I remember me and the lady at the time. We walked in. This was in the city of Whittier, and we walked in. And we met one of these ladies, and she was doing her puzzle right off in the corner, overlooking. I think it was like on the 5th floor. It was a tall complex, and these are like what do they call them, family services situations, right? I forget what they call them, but assisted living, that's what they call them. So assisted living is a little bit different than a like a nursing home or a convalescent home, right? Completely different. And you have your own autonomy. You get to go and come as you please, right? Walk in, walk out, go down the street. They have a shuttles that will take you to places you got to go if you want to go. So you're not confined at all. It's very much like they take care of you. They have, you know, the nurses on hand. They have your regular schedule. They can make sure they can check up on you. But this little old lady, she had to have been 83 or so. And she's like, oh, I enjoy my puzzles. Would you do the puzzle with me a little? And I said, yeah, sure. And me and my lady were starting to help her. My lady loves puzzles. I hate puzzles. I get like, but you know, I calmed my anxiousness down a little to have some time with this younger lady. And, you know, we're doing this, and she's talking about, you know, not much, but you could tell she's very positive, a lot more with it, with her mind, because you could tell she does this a lot, and she was very present. Okay. She wasn't like, there was no dementia there. There was no Alzheimer's, none that I could tell of. And she was very an independent elderly lady trying to get some sun through the window that she was in, playing her puzzle. Right. And I was kind of wondering, how many times has she done this puzzle? And I asked her, she goes, oh, this is my 5th time. I go, oh man, like I felt bad. I'm like, you need a new puzzle, right? It was one of those like really hard ones, like 1,000 pieces. But at the end of the day, she was working her mind. And the fact that she was working her mind, she was keeping herself busy. Was she alone? Oh yeah. Does her family visit? I don't know. I didn't stay long enough to check, because we had to go check out some of the other rooms because we were doing a little cost analysis. And that was about 5 years ago, to be honest. Since then, things have gone crazy, so I haven't done exactly that. I always thought, you know, if my mom needed a place like that, and or my dad, that would be the place I'd want to put them in. But again, they're kind of expensive. Okay, so $3,000, $3,500, $4,000. If you do 2 people, it's like $8,000. It gets expensive. So I always go, okay, I got to hit the lotto to be able to pay for that. But my point is this, all right? At the end of the day, I've seen a lot of elderly ones throughout my life. I used to teach Bible study to a group of senior citizens, and I've seen it consistently, time and again. Where are the grandkids? Where's the family members? And the grandkids family members are like, no, they're busy. Oh, really? Why don't you switch gears with them and stay at least a week and a half and see if you don't go out of your mind? Guaranteed you're going to be like, how does grandma do it? Why do you think she's so angry now? She's so happy to see you. She'll talk your ear off because she's like, finally, right? And you're like, oh my God, my grandma. Like, yeah, sorry, but I can't, that's because that would be my mom. My mom would be like, right? She was already that way. So, but I love my mom, right? Who doesn't? Okay, my point is this. So, what if Facebook and or HTC or one of them took the lead and said this, or worst case scenario, maybe they say, no, it's too cost prohibitive. We don't have that much money. Then get a really cool sponsor in on it that says, you know what, we're going to do this. It's going to be a trial basis. And we're going to learn a lot from this community. They're going to be our beta testers. Do it like that. Then you make sense for it financially for the business. And guess what? All the other little family members are going to be pretty jealous that grandma and grandpa are pretty cool, amazing at this new, whatever it is, right? Whatever, like, wow, grandma and grandpa got that quicker. Yeah, let me show you, son. Right? All of a sudden, like, oh, I need to get one. And now you got a whole community of people going, I need to buy one, right? Because if you can make it make sense for the elderly generation, you can make sense for everybody else. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face because I don't have the money to be able to do that right here, right now. I wish I did because I would make it happen. I know it's cost prohibitive. I get it. But you know what? You can do it. I'm sure there's a way to do it. There's got to be a way to do it, right? Because they can't go out. There's certain things they can't do. And I think some nursing homes are actually saving money, not having to get a vehicle to take them out because you can't go anywhere. So I think even nursing homes, if you're listening, you could probably invest in this on your own and be among the first to try it out. Agree or disagree? Anybody agree with me? All right. So there you go. That's my thoughts. And there you go. That's what I'm sharing. But I would think it would get a population of elderly ones to be so happy. At least an hour a day. All right. Let's see what the comments saying in social media. Let's see. Lily says that's the only time I travel is when I use my VR. Okay. And which VR headset do you have, by the way, Lily? Because again, some of the VRs came out very early and quick, and then a lot of the apps were like meh, right? Some of them I've seen, they're like meh, but some of the newer ones that they're starting to come out with have a lot of potential, and I do think this is where we're going to go eventually. And I think as they start figuring out that there's a customer base there, even larger than it is now, you have a lot of early adopters that have visited once, twice, maybe 3 times. But I just love the one where you can have one, kid you not. So if you work on your computer, right, you can have a multi-screen approach. You put on the headset, you still work on your computer, but now you have 3 screens. I've always wanted 3 screens, but instead of having to buy 3 screens, count the cost there. That's what, $250 minimum for 3 screens. You could do that in your virtual environment. Okay, there's a screen there, there's a screen there, and there's a screen there. All on your, imagine Iron Man, right? With the headset, and now he's got that, maybe one up there. All right, cool. Let me bring the drink. You get it? So they have apps that do that, by the way. Some are still somewhat beta, but I mean, how cool? Even that would be a good reason just to get a VR headset, right? You don't need 3 monitors. You can do, if you're trying to figure out, is this cost prohibitive? Does it make sense? Do a monthly plan. If you have the credit, there's some where you pay $50 a month. Boom, monthly plan. Do that, right? Treat yourself. All right, let's see. Mario says, I played paintball till 5 a.m. on the VR chat. Rosalie says, my boys haven't asked for VR yet. I think that's why I haven't looked into it, but sounds like I should run out and buy at least one. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say, why don't you? Now, the question is, which one do you want? Mario, I think, does the Oculus, right? Oculus 2. At minimum, Oculus 2, right? They went down in price, $299. If you do some research, they have some Black Friday deals. Supposedly, I tried to find a couple, but whatever. And if you do HTC, order it from their website. Don't order it online on one of the other ones. Just order from the website. It's cheap, free shipping. That's number one. You want free shipping. And you don't have all the other stuff there. So Lily's asking, do I have a VR? I'm on soon. It's coming in the mail quite soon. And so that's kind of important. And I told my mom, who was very reluctant to try it out. She's still reluctant because she cares what people think about, well, the guy, I'm going to look with it on. It's too big. I'm just like, Mom, you don't understand the new technology. I know. And my mom, I love my mom. My mom has always been advanced. Okay. My mom types 100 well, at our heyday, 165 words per minute. Do you know how fast that is? Like Speedy Gonzalez, ding, right? And she did it back in the day with the ding or the right, or how was it like? Ding. There it was, the right one. Yeah, the return carriage. Remember that? She learned on that, but then she fast forwarded to the electronic typewriter. I remember because I remember having one. I think it was at the house, and I was like, I hated that thing because it was so touchy, right? And then we had one of the first computers. I remember when we bought it at Sears, and I think it was like had Prodigy on there. Okay, so one of the first things I ever learned at the age of 5 was learning how to type because my mom made me. No, I'm just kidding. I think I wanted to, but she bought me this like thing, and it was on a record. I think it was a record player or a tape. I can't remember. And so you cover up the keyboard with stickers so you can't see it. So it would say your pinky, left pinky, hit A. Now hit it 3 times. And I had the old typewriter with the little it would go up, right? And it had the ribbon, and sometimes that ribbon would get stuck. I hated it. That's how far back I go with my mom. And she leveled me up before we even knew computers were going to be a thing. So I was super excited. Not when I was super ahead of the kids at high school, and I was like 60 words, 68 words per minute. I was like the advanced kid, but I'm like, I didn't want to tell them, well, I learned when I was 5, so I'm kind of ahead of the game. But it wasn't until after that when computers really were making a really big splash. All of a sudden, chat rooms was a thing, and people were like, "Wow, you type so fast." I'm like, "It's a thing, right?" So then when I got a job and I tried out for testing for a job, I was ahead of the game. I never really went. I always wanted to do my mom's fastness of like 180 words per minute, but I never got there. I think I stumbled at about 68 words per minute. I'm like, I don't know how my mom does it, but my mom's super fast mind and so fast, she's always ahead of the curve. So she's like, oh yeah, you do Google Pay like this. I didn't even do Google Pay wallet. She's so ahead. So I was a little oddly like taken aback when she was like, I don't want to do VR. I'm like, Mom, you are so advanced in all the gaming devices out there. You could show me what to do. And you're like, people your age are like, huh? I know people that still, right? That's not my mom. My mom's like, so she's fast. She's super fast. So I know she's going to take it and she's going to go next level with it, right? But even for the person that might be too slow, okay, that's not my mom. I know. That's why I was a little like, Mom, come on. You're going to want to. I said, look, beta test it with me because I want to create some cool apps with it eventually. I'm going to throw that out there right here, right now. I know I'm going to create apps. I got the people to do it eventually. I just got to come up with the ideas first. And I just want to test it honestly myself. I got time. I got no family right now, so I don't know Thanksgiving with family, and that's partly one of I know some of you are like, you have your mom. My mom doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. She doesn't make turkeys. My point is this, it's just right? Okay, whatever. Let me move on. But my point is this. So I got some downtime, right? So as long as I have downtime, might as well level up knowledge. Level up your knowledge. If you have the ability to have some downtime during the next couple of weeks, if you're on a lockdown, invest in one, return it after. Who cares, right? Maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Get it, buy it, put it in, see if you like it, send it back. No harm, no foul. So there you go. What? That's what some people do that with clothes. Some people do that with other things. Why not do that with a VR headset? Okay, buy it from Best Buy and then return it. Nothing wrong with that. They do take returns on electronics like that, right? Don't they? Yeah, just check the return policy on that. People do that with television sets. Come on, they do it for the Super Bowl. Get the big screen one, then they return it. Do it with a VR headset. Just don't tell them I told you. But I think honestly, if they did like a 30-day money back guarantee test trial, I'm pretty sure most people would want to keep it, right? Seriously, they just need to make it available for people. All right, let's see what people are saying. Maria says, if she trusts me, I could show her around the VR world. I appreciate you. She may or may not. I don't know. She may be like, I don't know her. Or she might be like, you know what? Thank you. Let's see. Rosalie says, I'm going to use my boys as an excuse to buy one, but it will really be for me. Why not? Why not? At the end of the day, look at the educational capabilities, right? And then talk to your facility, whatever the facility is, say, and some of them won't do it, but you know, I got to imagine whatever age they are, they'll be ahead of the game. VR headsets are literally the way televisions used to be. I'm not going to stake my career on it, but I will say this very heavily. As long as we have a world to come back to, right? Nobody blows it up. We don't go to war. And, we fix global climate and all the other things. We have a world to live on. You get it? I'm going to say that much because I feel like some people want to destroy our world and we need a world to come back to. So as much as I love VR, I love the earth more, right? But my point is this: provided it all goes the way it's supposed to go, we live life forever and a day, then VR is the next best thing to be able to help us A, escape for the time being, the pandemic, and B, be able to create new cool platforms to be able to A, social distance from one another, work together in a very given cool amount of space, right? And or just meet new people, right? I'm sure there's some single people that would be like, want to go on a date virtually? Why not, right? So there you go. There's ways to do it, so why not? Let's see here. Mario says, I bought it for me first. We had to buy more VR sets. My kids and my 79-year-old mom love it. So now when I am away from home, we can hang out in the VR world, even with my family in Michigan. Oh, I see. That's how you got it, because you're away from home. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mario. I think you and I are going to be like helping people go like, you know what? I should be looking at this. Let's see. She says it helps with memory, dementia, depression, and loneliness. 100%. I believe that. I said that to my mom. I said, Mom, there's some games that you like that are so rudimentary. They're click here, click here, click here. But I like ones that challenge your mind. That'll keep you younger and much more ahead of the game. Let's see. She says, I want to buy a new one. She says, very old, the one you use your whole phone. Yeah, okay. So those phone ones, they're not bad, but they're not great. And I know what you're thinking, like with the phone, you could do the VR. I think Samsung has that. You could do it, but they're more clunky than not because they're not made technically for a VR headspace. So you want just if you have the credit, get the credit and then pay monthly and or borrow it from somebody, or ask who has one and then see if you like it and or try it out before you do it, before you dump a bunch of money on it. Okay. Let's see. Ronaldo says, I like to speak English, but my English is bad. That's all right. Do the best you can. We forgive you. I speak English and I get it wrong all the time. All right, let's see. Oh, well, no wonder. Started out to be a programmer and design games. I started to, but didn't happen. Well, then there's just, if you have free time, why not? Lily says virtual date. Ooh, that would be fun. If I don't like him, I block him. I think you said that before, but it's true. There are apps and or like restaurant places that you could both kind of like put yourselves in, and you could just have a conversation with you and them. Right? I mean, you see their digital avatars, not their actual face, but you hear them, and then they move around in such a way. It's a little, get used to. But why not? Why not? Somebody needs to create that app. Seriously, I think it would do really well. Of course, you got to make sure they're legal age and all. Like, there's certain things I'm thinking about, but if you know them in the real world, you get where I'm going with that. And there's ways to do it. Lily says, I tried my daughter. She has the PS4 with VR, and now I want one. Yeah, and look, the PlayStation 4 with VR is good if you're a gamer, but I think for certain people, you might try it out and you're like, I don't like that game, and then you judge it based on that. But if you look at Facebook Connect, as I brought up some videos yesterday, you're going to see a lot more capabilities and or things that they're coming out with, a lot of them for free. And you could go in there and test them out and see what they're like. I'm not expecting like the world from it yet. I think, though, that we're on the brink of getting the rest of it. But just being able to meet with people in a virtual world, I think is pretty cool. So I want to see what the capabilities are and see what I could do with it. And that way I can have a little bit more better information, because I could guarantee you right now, Facebook's probably dumping a lot of money on this for a reason. All right, people, I'm out of time. That's my time here on the morning show. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. And if you're going to go buy a VR headset, let me know. Okay, I'll send you a link if you want to buy it on Amazon. I get a little percentage, like 5%. All right, people, make it a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.